Hello everyone. Today I am here with sort of an unboxing of the TWSBI Swipe. So I've seen a lot of people talking about the TWSBI Swipe and how much they like it. I actually originally was not planning to get this pen at all because I thought, oh, well, cartridge converter pen, this which is what the Swipe is sort of a step backwards for TWSBI, is kind of what I was thinking. Because one of the things I really like about the TWSBI pens generally is that they have a really large capacity piston fill system and for fairly inexpensive. But so many people were saying that they really liked the Swipe, and it's a fairly inexpensive pen. It's in the 20s of dollars, I think 27 maybe. Your mileage may vary depending on where you get it. I got mine at Pen Boutique. That was just because I had an ink that I wanted to get from them and I was sort of holding off on it so that I could get free shipping. So if I got something else, I would get free shipping. So I decided to go ahead and get the TWSBI Swipe from them. TWSBI Swipe, like the name, I don't know how I feel about the name. I mean, TWSBI Swipe, it makes me kind of think of I'm swiping your pen, but anyway, I digress. Let's go ahead and get in here. So the box is a lot smaller than the typical TWSBI box. So I've already taken the little sticky pieces off the box itself on the inside here so that we can easily get it open, I hope. I would say it's probably half the size of the packaging of the TWSBI Ecos, for example. It has this really nice sort of color scheme on the top. It shows you here made in Taiwan, and it shows you the color and the nib size. I got a broad nib on this. I only have one other TWSBI broad nib, and that was kind of questionable as far as its ability to write well, so I thought I'd try another one and see if it's any better. I've gotten pretty good at swapping out nibs or tuning nibs if I need to adjust them, so I didn't feel like I needed to get this from a place that would tune and smooth it or something like that. I feel pretty comfortable with that now. I would say over the last year, I've probably gotten a little bit more confident with tuning and smoothing and swapping out nibs and that sort of thing. Thanks, pandemic. Okay, so let's go ahead and get in here. So the box itself is pretty simple. It's you know, in the vein of regular TWSBI boxes. Normally with the Echo or the Eco, you get a clear plastic case. This one you get a white case, and then you open it up, and then all of these little pieces are in here. And it has quite a few. I'm going to open this in a minute, but I'm going to take this pen out. I decided to get the blue because they were labeling it as Prussian blue, which my Prussian blue Diamine 580 from TWSBI is one of my all-time favorite color schemes for a pen. So I thought, you know, since I like that color so much, maybe I'd like this. It is a really beautiful blue. I'm really happy that I got this. The only two colors that I know that are available is this color, which is a little dusty, and the clear, not clear, but it's a demo sort of gray frosted version. That also looked really nice, but the blue one, I figured I would probably be a little bit more happy with that in the long run, even though it isn't a demo, and I've been really keen on demo pens lately. So as you can see, it already has a little spring in there, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Well, actually, I'll explain it now because this goes ahead and talks about that. So this says optional use with cartridge, not needed during normal use. So basically the spring that you see here that's in there, and I'll show it to you in more detail when I take it apart, is to go behind a cartridge so that it'll essentially push the cartridge up against where it's seated so that it doesn't fall out. Now, I have not ever really had that problem. Well, that's not entirely true. Actually, I feel like I say that a lot on the channel. Like, oh, that's not true. Well, wait a minute, because I remember things as I'm talking. But there actually have been a pen or two where the cartridge was loose. I don't think it actually ever fell out. So something like this might help, but with this pen and this particular cartridge, at least from what I've seen, it doesn't seem like that would be a problem, but let's go ahead and check it out. I'm gonna leave this plastic thing out of here because I'm not gonna need that anymore. I'm gonna go ahead and open this before I take apart the pen. This has some other things here. Oh, actually, well, oh yeah. So this is the extra spring, and it's pretty, I mean, it's a pretty substantial spring. I think the one that's in here is actually in the spring converter, which is part of the reason why I thought this was interesting. But so this is that little spring that goes behind your cartridge here. So if you load it up, it'll essentially push it up against the pen there. And these cartridges, it comes with a cartridge, are really huge. Let me go ahead and get out. I have some Diamine cartridges here, and these are standard international short cartridges. So you can also get long ones, which are about twice this length. But as you can see, the cartridge itself is really a monster. I mean, it's not necessarily longer than, say, an international long cartridge, but it is pretty fat by comparison to a regular standard international cartridge. So you wouldn't be able to fit this in any other pen really other than the Swipe. And I don't know what color this is. I'm suspecting that it's probably black. Yeah, since it's got the black end here, because they usually give you black. I'm not a huge fan of black ink, so I probably won't end up using this cartridge, but you never know. I might like to try it sometime, so I'm gonna leave it in here. And I'll go ahead and put these cartridges back off to the side because that was just to show you. And my understanding is that regular short international cartridges will fit in here. Actually, let's go ahead and take a look at whether this little spring would work with that. Yeah, it actually is the right size to go ahead and push a regular cartridge in there. So maybe that would be helpful because this is so much smaller. It might have a little more wiggle room and might be more likely to fall out. Like I was saying, I don't think that's a huge issue with cartridge pens, but you could use that with that. And you know, it's a little bit shorter, but I have a feeling it would probably still fit there. But anyway, let's put those cartridges away. Oh, wow, I've used a lot of those. Okay, so I'm actually going to leave this little spring and the cartridge in the box. And I'm actually going to leave this converter as well in the box. And this converter is also very chunky, so you wouldn't be able to use this with a different pen. But this is a standard type converter that you're normally seeing. So it has this little twisty piece on the back, and that pushes the piston down. So you push it like that, and then you put it in your ink, and then you do that to fill it with ink there. So I'm probably not going to use this one right off the bat because the other one is a little more interesting. I'm going to show you this compared to a regular converter. Let's see, I have a few here. Let me just pick one. I have a little bag of converters here. And I think this is probably a standard international converter. So as you can see, it's both quite a bit longer and quite a bit fatter than the regular one. But again, I think that this would probably work there because the opening here is going to be the same size. So you probably could seat that in there. I might actually try to seat this one. I don't want to do the regular cartridge because if I put the cartridge in, it'll pop the little seal, and then, you know, what am I going to do with that cartridge? But I will try it with the regular converter as well to see if it actually does fit. Okay, so here is the actual pen, and let's go ahead and, oh, it's a pull top, sorry. That's the other thing. I'm so used to TWSBIs being twist off caps. The feel of it, it's very light, but it's not like crazy light. It actually has a pretty good weight, I think, for a cheap plastic pen, which is essentially what this is. The clip seems a little tight here on the body. I'm not sure how well it would clip to things that were a little thick. It doesn't have a lot of wiggle room because it looks like it is just placed here. So there's not a lot of flexibility there. But just over a couple of pieces of paper or something, or maybe some thin fabric, probably would be okay. So there, pop top. So it does have a little demonstrator clear area here, which is nice because you'll be able to see what your ink level is. So this is what it looks like uncapped, and you can see it's just a typical TWSBI nib. This is, my understanding is that it's the same nib that's on the Ecos. So if you like those nibs, you'll probably like this one as well. Let's see, and hopefully this will write well. I'm gonna do some writing sample for you. So this I do believe twists off, but let's see. Ooh, it seems super tight. Let's see. Yeah, it is twist off, but it was really, really tight. So that took a little bit of work to get that off. So then here is sort of the most interesting thing about the various little accessories here that you get. So this is a another converter that you can fill with ink, but it is a little spring loaded one. So you just push down and then do like that, and the ink will go up. And I'll actually fill this and do a writing sample today. I think what I'm going to fill the pen with today is Robert Oster's Velvet Storm. This is an ink that I profiled recently on the channel, and I haven't yet put it in any pens, and I think that the color of the ink will go pretty well with the body of the pen. It might be a little bit darker, but still I think it'll be a good match. So again, you do like that, and then you do like that, and I might do it a couple of times to see how well it fills, depending on how many times you do it. So that's what I'm going to use today to fill this up. But let's go ahead and try and fit this regular converter in here. Yep, that works fine. So let's see, will that, oh no, that just might get messy and weird if you put that over there. I don't think you need it. So when it closes, you know, that'll be a little bit shorter than the ones it comes with. It's a little bit more floppy, I would think, than this one, just because of the nature of it being smaller, but it seems pretty sturdy. I don't think you would have a problem with that falling out. I don't know why you would want to use the regular converter when you have these fun options here, but that is something you could do. So I'm going to go ahead and put that converter away in my little bag of converters there. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this guy back in, because that's what I'm going to use. Yeah, that's definitely a lot more solid. It doesn't have any wiggle because of how well it fits. So this one, I'm just going to go ahead and put back in the box and close that box up and put it back in this. I'm wondering if I should keep it in a little bag or something, that converter, with the rest of my converters. But for now, I'm just going to leave it in the box. Okay, and I'm going to get a paper towel out so that we don't spill here, and put that. Like that, I just knocked this bottle over. So let's go ahead and get in here. So I'm going to leave this attached to fill to see how it goes, because you can fill it just by taking it out and filling it. So let's see. I'm going to tilt it a little bit so you can see a little bit better. So it seems like you can do this one-handed, which is also nice. You can't necessarily, I'm going to move this over so you can see the whole process here. You can't necessarily fill normal converters one-handed, so this is kind of useful. So I'm just going to put it down into the ink, push. Oops, oh no, oh boy, I'm gonna have to wipe that off now. So as you can see, it filled to about here. I'm going to wipe that excess off from just accidentally dropping that into the ink so that we don't get that everywhere. Okay, so actually, let me do that a little bit more because there's some in the threads here. So that's one downside to doing that with one hand. It might slip and go in there. I'm probably going to get ink it down into the pen because of how that is now gathering, but it's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in there one more time. So as you can see, it filled up about halfway. Let's see. This time I'm going to do it two-handed just because I'm clearly not sturdy enough two-handed. So I'm going to push it again. And then I would say that that's about 2/3 of the way full. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there to do the testing. And then I'm going to wipe the nib off a little bit. And let's see, it doesn't look like there's any ink like actively gathering anywhere, so that's good. And then I'm going to put the back on, and yeah, it seems to lock pretty tightly. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to put the pen aside for a second and close this bottle of ink. And as usual, well, that was mostly because I dropped the pen in the ink. Normally it wouldn't be that messy. Okay, so I have some Tomoe River paper here, just a sheet of it, and I'm going to test this out. So let's see how it feels unposted. Oh, that's actually quite lovely. So this is the TWSBI Swipe. Yeah, this ink is very dark, probably also because of the broad nib, so it looks almost black. So I'm going to see how it feels posted. It feels perfectly fine. It doesn't feel overly heavy. I would say it's probably a little bit back heavy with the cap on, but not overly so. And so this is the Prussian blue color with a broad nib. This is actually a very smooth and lovely broad nib. And I am going to do the Quick Brown Fox. All right. I'll do that in block lettering as well. As it's drying, you're seeing that it's a little more blue, that ink. So I'm going to go ahead and cap this up. It looks actually really, really nice. This is a beautiful broad nib. I'm very happy about that. Super smooth. I don't think that's going to need any adjustment at all. So there you go. That's how it writes. This particular ink doesn't seem to show through very much. This is Tomoe River paper, so it is kind of thin to begin with, but not too bad. All right, well, that's the TWSBI Swipe. Fun little pen. I actually am thinking this is going to be lots of fun. I have to say that I wasn't going to get this pen until Inky Rocks showed it on her little review video that she did for this pen, and she just was raving about it, and I thought, it's cheap enough. I can go ahead and get one. And now that I am writing with it, I think, especially since I got the broad nib, this might be really fun to try out different inks, because I think it's going to be easy to clean, because, you know, to clean it, you'll just push it with this particular converter. You just push it in, you know, push water in and out, and there you go. So I think this is probably a good purchase. I mean, if you like TWSBI nibs, or if you are a newbie to fountain pens, this is probably be a good one to start with as well. But I really like it. I really like the color, and I like the other color too. I think you can't really go wrong with this one. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.